Hello and nice to see you on my channel. I am Kowinjo, and in this Star Wars Outlaws guide we will be discussing the minigame Sabacc, which can be very confusing at first. That's why I decided to put together a little guide here. It does take up a somewhat larger part of the game. For example, it must be played in main missions as well as in side missions. This unlocks rewards. You also gain reputation with the cartels. So it is really very important to host the game well here and primarily to understand it. That's what this video will be about, so let's get started. Before we start the video here, I would like to draw your attention to my partner Instant Gaming. Here you can find everything your heart desires at absolutely top prices. Of course, all the latest games are available for all consoles. You can see PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, everything is represented. Your main focus may be on topping up your balance. Here, Instant Gaming also offers incredibly good prices. For example, you can see cards for PlayStation and Xbox at amazing prices. Not only do you save real money, but you also support me and my future projects with it. Of course, I receive a small commission when you purchase something from Instant Gaming. You can find the link to Instant Gaming in the description of each of my videos. Check it out as mentioned very much. So save your wallet and support me and my future projects. I would really be thrilled about that. Alright, let's get started. Before we begin, I will go through the rules with you. Overall, I will give you a brief overview and then I will show you an example of one of my gameplay rounds where you will hopefully be well informed and understand the game 100%. I think that in the gameplay, everything important is really covered, but just for better understanding, here are the rules. So when you sit down at this table, you can see that the symbol in the bottom right is unfortunately covered by me. Press the touchpad once, and then you can take your time to read through the rules here. It's definitely important for you to have a rough overview. As I said, I will now skim through the whole thing with you. Very important, of course, are the cards. There are sand and blood cards. Ultimately, those are the only ones and they have a value between 1 and 6. Now, you can easily make a mistake here, especially those of you who are poker enthusiasts. One might think that the highest value is the best. However, that is not fundamentally the case here. So the lower the value, the better it is in general. I will explain this in detail shortly, but basically, there are cards ranging from 1 to 6. There are also a few special cards, which I will show you in a moment. So here we see the ranks. This is very crucial. For example, if we have a sand card with a value of 6 and a blood card with a value of 5, we have a difference of 1. That's definitely fine. I would say the probably worst hand would then possibly be a 6 and a 1, which would give us a difference of 5, so a very high value. This is fundamentally very bad. If you can't get a pair, you should always try to keep the difference between the two cards as low as possible, just like in this example above me. And the goal is, of course, to get a pair consisting of 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s or 6s. You can see that right above me now. The lower the value, the better the pair. So the worst pair is a 6 pair, and the best pair in general is a 1 pair. With that, you can really only be beaten by another hand. I will show you that shortly. And here are the next special features. There are Sabacc cards. Here you see the right card, the red card, the blood card, a very memorable symbol. And this card always replaces the value of the sand card, meaning the yellow card. Yes, if you have a 1 in this example, then the Sabacc card is automatically also a 1 and you have a very strong Sabacc. If I go a bit further here, we have these cards that show 3 dice on them. They can also be useful if you really have very bad cards. Then, at the end of the round, dice are rolled when we are almost at the end. And then we obviously have a certain percentage chance that, for example, when we roll the dice, one of the 2 dice shows a 1, as is the case here. And then we also have a Sabacc pair again. If things go really badly, then the dice might end up being a 3 and a 5. Then, of course, that's not good. We have a difference here and we need to decide on one or the other of the 2 cards. But this is another multiple choice situation with the dice card. It can also be very interesting if you really don't draw good cards. So here we have a few special cards as well, and I will show you that again shortly. They are independent of the cards. Here we can then have special perks before each turn in the different rounds, let's call them that, where players might have to pay a penalty or where you yourself do not have to pay a fee for a turn or something similar. I certainly haven't unlocked everything yet. You often receive these as rewards, find them in treasure chests, and of course you will likely be rewarded with these tokens for story progression as well. So it's very important, and I will show you this in the gameplay shortly so that you can understand it better. So here you can see again how the scoring is done. I think this is not so crucial here, it's self-explanatory. Of course, we always have 3 moves here, then the round is over. There are basically different tables here in Star Wars Outlaws where you might play just a single round consisting of 3 moves, or where 3 complete rounds are played, like in my case with Yusan, consisting of 3 moves. So the length can always vary a bit, but per round you can potentially swap hands 3 times. So here you can see again how to win and how to lose. Yes, the winning hand is of course the Sabacc hand, and on the right here is a relatively low value, but of course the pair beats the hand accordingly. Here you can also see this is the best hand in the game, for example. This is pure Sabacc consisting of the 2 Psylop cards, making you truly unbeatable. Here is a standard Sabacc again, consisting of a value like the 3 and the Psylop card, which of course symbolizes or represents the 3. Then here in the form of the dice, a 3 was rolled and then a 3 was rolled again, as seen once more at the symbol above. And the pure or the clean Sabacc, that is by far the best hand in the game. It even beats a regular Sabacc, which consists of these 2 symbols. I have never had that before. I once had a Psylop pan, which I will also show in the gameplay shortly, but 2 Psylops, meaning the pure Sabacc, I have not had yet. You can also cheat a little here in the form of nothing. I will show you that shortly as well. It is linked to a small QuickTime event. It's very, very simple. You'll understand immediately after the first time. However, if you mess up during this QuickTime event, the games will take notice of you. You might even get banned from the table. So you need to pay a bit of attention. You can of course see what value or which cards the opposing players currently have in their hands. It can be very, very useful to move forward here so you can assess whether your hand is good or if you need to raise again. So those are basically the rules explained in a bit more detail, and now I'll show you the gameplay. I think then everything will be clear and you'll become an absolute Sabacc pro. So my dear friends, let's get started with a round of gameplay so that afterwards there are really no questions left unanswered. You see, you always start each time. I have my hand here to the left of me, 6 and 5, so a difference of 1. The hand isn't too bad. I'm now looking at my additional cards and I'll go into more detail about that shortly. Well, not so bad. Of course, I want to go for a pair, meaning a Sabacca. You see, the outer cards here are always face up. You can also draw them if necessary. That can also be a very rewarding alternative. On the far left and far right, those are the dice cards in this case. I draw a sand card and of course I hit the jackpot right away. Draw a 5, then you must always discard 1 card from the sand cards accordingly. Of course, I discard the 6 and therefore have a Sabacc, so an incredibly powerful hand. It is only beaten by the 4, 3, 2 and 1 Sabacc, and of course by the pure Sabacc of 2 Psylop cards. Yes, incredibly powerful. That's why I will now hold the card with the square in the further course. You can then correspondingly pass, just like in poker when you check, for example. And now the additional cards come into play. They can be incredibly powerful. You may need to take a turn, for example. No fee is paid in the form of a coin, or you pay, or the opponents pay penalty coins, and so on and so forth. I have hardly unlocked any cards yet, so you will still get very, very powerful cards here. Very, very important is, of course, as you can see on the left, my coins, 5 of them. Accordingly, if you run out of coins, you can no longer draw any cards. If you are unable to play, you have lost the game. This is very, very important. That is also why the additional cards are so important. Therefore, it may also be important to hold here. It's obviously optimal that I immediately drew a 5 in Sabacc. This way, I naturally save myself the coin fees that the others then have to bet. You can see here that the other 2 players have significantly fewer coins. I have my pair here, my 5 Sabacc. The next player has a difference of 1. He is rolling now, which I have taken into account. Yes, he definitely had a Sabacc and even beat me. Accordingly, I obviously have to pay him here as well. He has an incredible number of coins, 6 in total. The left player has 2, as you can see above me, and the right player also has 2. I have 4, so everything is still in the green. The opponents also have additional cards where you may have to pay penalties or similar things. You always need to keep an eye on that. And now you see I have a 1 and a 4 here. So of course everything is far from optimal, especially the 4. I'm trying to get back to a Sabacc now. Accordingly, I will of course play the red card here. Right after that, when you press the D-pad up, nothing comes into play. I just mentioned that this is the quick time event. Here you can take a look at what cards the opponents have. So 2 plus dice. He also has 2 plus dice here, and here I let it fail once. You always have to be careful in that regard, as your opponents will scrutinize you more critically. If another attempt at cheating fails here, you will automatically lose as well. Unfortunately, at some tables, it is also not possible to cheat, depending on the situation, so you'll have to check that, but you don't bet anything like that. So press the D-pad up. And here you can also see the cards again from the outside. Of course, I can't do anything with them. I go for the red card. Ideally, I want to get a 1. That's exactly what happens again. Now I have the second best hand in the game, meaning a bet bug, which is beaten by the pure Sabacc through the 2 Psylop cards. So far, everything looks good. I have 2 coins. Of course, I need to make sure that I win this round. You can see that the 2 outer players on the left and right each only have 1 coin left. Now I'm doing my free draw here where I don't have to pay a fee. So this can really be very, very powerful with the additional cards. Depending on the course of the game, the rounds will become significantly more difficult. 2001, maybe the opponents have better additional cards, but we probably do as well. I would of course like to stop here with an introduction. Logically, I am not doing anything else. So here is round 2, results 2 and 1 die. He rolls a 4, 2 and 1 die, making it a 5, which is really, really bad, resulting in a difference of 3. And the colleague here, the Davy Jones colleague, 1 and 4, so also a difference of 3. And I have my pair here, my 1 Sabacc, and now the cash register is really ringing. Yes, and now we come to the final and decisive round. You can see on the left and right that the opponents have now been eliminated. They have no chips left, and of course they had to pay me accordingly. And it looks extremely good. Now I have a 1 and a 2 here, so that's a difference of 1, which is already very, very powerful. I would like to go back to the 1-point Sabacc now and take another look at my additional card to see if I can do anything. And in the end, it is always a matter of luck, just like in poker, whether I draw a sand card or a red card. I choose the red one and hit the absolute jackpot again. And this is the Psylog card, which of course always takes the value of the other hand. In other words, you automatically always have a pair in your hand. I now have a 1-point Sabacc, which is again the second best hand in the game. Incredibly powerful, so he obviously can't do anything anymore. I would also have additional cards here. I still have 3 coins. Everything is really absolutely perfect. And then the game is coming to an end here. He rolls again, getting 2 and 5, so very, very weak. The other 2 players, since they had no more coins, are already out. And of course I am clearly beating him here as well. And now you can see again why it is so important to play Sabacc. To understand and play really well, I'm getting an incredible amount of rewards here, which is of course very, very powerful. Among other things, here is a new additional card, but also treasures that significantly increase your reputation with the Pike Syndicate. That's why you need to play Sabacc. Study it all, understand it, 21. I hope the video has helped you. There are really no more questions left. If I forgot anything, please feel free to write in the comments. I would of course be happy if you could also help the community here. Stay tuned for more Star Wars Outlaws videos by subscribing to the channel for free. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, take care, see you soon, and goodbye.